spending so much money buying bombs for a war that we cannot win instead of...
Hang on a minute.
Well, as a representative here for the Republican Party, I can say that it is not a policy of the Republican Party that there is no hunger in America. Of course there is, and there always has been, and it's something that has to be dealt with. As to buying bombs or providing human services, the fact of the matter is, and it was a misnomer on a show you had earlier with a couple of friends of mine, Bella Abzug and Eleanor Smeal, Phil, that Ellie said that 40% of the budget was spent on defense, 29% of the budget is spent on defense, and 53% of the budget is spent on human services. And them's is the facts as they appear in 19. Almost half of that is salaries and benefits to people in the military and retired people in the military. So when you really look at the figures...
You want to know what kind of women they are that disapprove of him.
Well, see, one of the problems with published surveys is that you don't have all of the background material. And I would be very hypocritical if I were to take a survey that suddenly is favorable and say, oh, I love that survey, because I have for years said that a survey is a working tool. It's something in which, if I don't know when it was asked and what the questions were and who the people were or the demographics of it.
And I can't get a job, and I don't know how the Reagan administration is going to get my vote this time, because I lived worse than I did 5 years ago before I went to college. You know, I don't...
Do you think that this administration is responsible for that?
Well, I can't get a job. Also, we're talking about taxing more waitresses' incomes now, and that's what a lot of women have to take those jobs now.
Yeah. What's the matter? Yeah.
Well, I voted for Reagan in 1980, but I don't know if I will in this election. One of the things is I'm a nurse, and I have really seen a lot of cutbacks within the hospital. I don't know if the administration is responsible for that, but like job opportunities for me are really limited. When I got out of school 5 years ago, I could go anywhere and get a job, and now there's just no opportunity just because the cutbacks, I think, Medicare and...
Yeah. I'll give you a chance. Yes.
If the Democrats decide to run a woman for vice president, how do you feel that will affect your father's chances for re-election?
Well, I heard the show in which it was said that it added 10 points to the equation. It also loses 10 points. Any survey that's been done, including the one done by the New York Times, shows it to be a bit of a wash. My own personal feeling is that until women run for the presidency, they're not going to be accepted as a part of the ticket. Well, we've had two. We've had Shirley Chisholm and Margaret Chase Smith. And you notice nobody ever remembers, except a few of us, that they actually did indeed run for the presidency. But what worried me the most about that particular survey was that it showed that the vast majority of the American people said that women had no knowledge of foreign policy. And I don't agree with that. I think women do have a very good knowledge, many women do, of international policy. And so it seems to me that and we have a tremendous number of women on both sides of the aisle who should be jumping off to the next logical political step. And until and unless they're willing to do that, we are not ladies in waiting. We should not be anointed by somebody. We should go out and go for it.
Is it your father's fault this young woman can't find a job?
I don't think
She's
so.
suggesting she thinks it is. What do you want to say to her? Pretty important.
Well, you know, our economy is turning around.
I just don't see where anybody's, help people that can't really find a job.
Well, you're talking
our
about
economy is turning around. More and more jobs are being created.
But that
of course,
doesn't help
jobs
me.
are
It
being
hasn't helped me
created
for
in
the last
different
few
areas
years.
from which we probably knew during my time or during your mother's time or so. And I should think that your college placement offices, they say that the placement rates are up, that more and more recruiters are on campus today offering more and more jobs, and that summer employment will be up, and that employment figures are up. Maybe after the show we can chat together to find out what your problem may be.
Okay.
Take advantage of the opportunity.
As Vice President for Student Affairs, who used to handle the placement office, maybe we can be of some